Brian, I've got an issue. Syracuse won. That's great. It was a crazy game, but I'm still all decked out in my Q skier, ready to go, and I don't know what to do with myself.
You don't know what to do with yourself? The games are never over here, Jordan. Not once. Why?
Two standouts are Ton Thomas and Eric Devendorf.
What's going on, everyone? It's Monday. It's 11 o'clock, so you know what time it is. It's time for the Etan and Devo show. E, what's going on, man? How was your weekend?
Well, it was pretty good, pretty busy with the girls' volleyball tournament, so that's what I was doing the whole weekend. How about you?
Oh, you've been having a lot of volleyball going on.
Man, volleyball is a whole different, because we know AAU basketball, and AAU basketball is different. Like, you play a game or two, because my son just finished, playing on the EYBL circuit. It's different. Volleyball, though, and all y'all out there who have daughters playing volleyball, travel volleyball, it's from can't see in the morning to can't see at night. That's how long it goes. And it's all weekend, so it's on a whole different level.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I know you're going to be there every step of the way, so.
Oh, for sure.
Well, that's awesome, man.
Quick shout out to my daughter, baby Sierra. Her team went undefeated. They won a championship. So I got to give a quick shout out to Maryland Jr. since she brought him up. So quick shout out.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to her and congratulations on the wins this weekend. That's awesome, man. That's beautiful. So E, I mean, we got a lot to cover this weekend. Obviously, Cuse went on the dreaded West Coast trip. You're going from New York to Cali. They were there about a week. And we've been hearing all season long about, the teams just complaining about having to travel and go there. But honestly, we're in 2 feet of snow in Syracuse. All right. You get to go to Cali. You get to enjoy 70, 75 degree weather. Besides the travel and the length of time to get there. Once you get there, you can probably, breathe a little bit lighter and just put some shorts and T-shirts on. And, what I mean? Get a little tan.
That's true, but also just the physical travel of flying 6 hours or however long it takes to get from Syracuse to California, and then the timing of the game. So the game is at starting at 11 o'clock, what you're used to.
Man,
I was struggling to stay awake. I got to be honest with you. I didn't make it that Stanford game. I saw the first half. It looked terrible. I was like, all right. I'm saying they're struggling to stay awake. So for them playing in that type of it is different. I saw the UCLA coach was like, oh, these people are complaining about coming to sunny LA. I was like, stop that. It's different when you're playing East Coast time and you're playing at 11 o'clock. There's a difference.
And E, I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not stay up to watch the game. That's why I have Synergy, and I'm able to watch the game over again the next day. And I did watch a little bit of the Cal game. I was in Boston, but I ended up Synergy is a lifesaver. All right, it lets you watch every single game back, Division 1, 2, or 3. So shout out to Synergy for getting me right. But yeah, let's start off with Stanford. It was a slow start. I mean, that's an
understatement. It was a terrible start. That's an understatement. Listen, you cannot spot somebody that many points in the beginning. Like that was just bad basketball. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was bad from every aspect. You know what I mean? From defensively to our movement to everything. That was bad. So when that can't happen. Now we did play better against Cal, but that Stanford, you're not going to be able to. And I guess they made a little bit of a comeback in the second half. I was asleep for that, but I didn't even get to see any of that. But it was just that's not going to work. That's the only way to say it.
So honestly, the first, I want to say 12 minutes of the Stanford game, it was like, man, what is going on? These dudes are still on the plane. right? I mean, it was. I think it was at one point it was 20-2, maybe 17-0, and then it was like 22-3 or something like that. But honestly, after that first 12, 13 minutes, defensively they started to pick it up, and I mean, you got to give credit to the Syracuse defense, but Stanford they weren't making any shots either. So, but they were able to get back into the game, and I think they were down 9 at half, and then second half it was just offensively nobody could get going. 61 points, but I guess if you want to look at a bright spot, defensively they were much better. But the big fella from Stanford, Maxine Renault, I believe that's how you say it. I mean, he's unbelievable, man. 7 foot. He's putting it on the ground. He's shooting it. He got post work. He's, his mobility. He's one of the best players in the ACC, really the country. I mean, he leads the ACC in double doubles. He probably won't get ACC Player of the Year because there's a guy at Duke named Cooper Flagg he's a generational talent. He's the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. I don't care what anyone tells me. He's been unbelievable this year, and he just keeps getting better. He just keeps getting better every single game. But you can't take away how this big fella from Stanford has been playing. I mean, I think he had 21 and 15 against Cuse, and he's a guy who just gets a double-double every single night. So that was a tough assignment for Cuse, but nonetheless, defensively, they did improve a little bit over the weekend against Stanford and Cal. And you talked about Cal. It was a big win. They needed to at least split one in Cali.
And I'm glad they did split one, but one bright spot I could take from the first game was I was happy to see Carlos get more involved in the offense. We touched on it a little bit last week, and we said for him to be able to be, he's a great distributor. I would love to play with him. You know what I mean? Because he just wants to pass everybody the ball and get everybody involved and everything like that. That's great. But he has to at least be an offensive threat to be able to keep opposing defenses at least honest. They can't just have to back away from you completely. You know what I mean? But you have to be an offensive threat. But it was good to see him, make a few shots. I think he actually led the team in scoring against Stanford. I don't know.
He did. He had 16.
So that's enough of that game. But they played better against Cal. And I thought Cal was definitely a game where we should have won. They were without Stojakovic, who was like their main scorer, main player. I didn't think that we should have lost that game. So I was glad to see that. But I want to ask you, big fella, Naheem McLeod, he got some quality minutes, I thought.
Yeah.
And I know that we went to the 2-3 zone, went to a Syracuse zone, and it looked good to me. I understand maybe they don't want to play him against maybe the new age big men where there's a lot of pick and pop and showing and moving. I'm guessing, you know what I mean? I haven't heard Coach Red talk about it, but if we're going to go zone more, which it seemed to be, effective against Cal, I think that he should be playing more. He's a presence in there. He's 3, 4. He can move. I saw him. I would like to see more of him. What do you think about that?
Well, especially against Cal, because they really didn't have that much shooting out there. I think it was Blackshear and Wilkinson. They were, they could shoot the ball, but they're not like pure shooters. Without Stojakovic, California really didn't have a guy who was just stepping into it, knocking it down every time. So if you're going to go zone, why not put a 7'4" guy in the middle? A guy who could just, with one step left to the right or up and down, he's covering that much space. And I thought he played well. And defensively, the zone is what really took Cal out of their rhythm. The whole night, they weren't able to, really get into rhythm. They didn't find the way to get the right guy in the high post to attack. They really should have put Wilkinson in the high post, a guy who could make plays and score and attack at that free throw line area. But it was really the opposite, right? Stanford, they had a really slow start, and Cal, they got off to a really good start. And when you're able to get off to a really good start, get some confidence, behind the guys, and rather than playing from behind, if you're down 19 points in the first half, you could. Basketball is a game of runs. You're going to be able to get back into it, but that's hard, man. To be able to play from behind the whole time, you want to be the team that's in front, and they're playing from behind. And that was the case versus Cal. But to your point about the zone, I thought, honestly, they probably need to go do it more often, man. Because and this weekend defensively, I thought they were better, but the whole year, they just haven't been able to keep guys in front.
Well, I think the difficult part is that, that now, since there's this new age of basketball where everybody's shooting so many threes, if you have three different guys on the floor, or even four different guys on the floor that can all step out and shoot the three, it's a little bit harder to play the 2-3 zone. 2-3 zone work against teams that can't shoot. You know what I mean? So, that's like when I was playing, we were always being 2-3 zone the whole time against Georgetown, and they couldn't really shoot. They just wanted to drive or pound it inside. But that I think that's what makes it a little bit more difficult. But yeah, we have Duke coming up on Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? Wednesday, right? Duke coming up.
Right.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a tough one.
What you got? What are the keys to beating Duke by Devo? Lay them out for us.
So, I mean, defensively, Duke is one of the best teams in the country. I mean, they're the tallest team in the country. I think they average like 6'6.5" or 6'7", and that's from the guard position all the way to the center position. They got guys who could shoot, make plays. Obviously, Cooper Flagg, in my opinion, he's the best player in the country. A freshman coming in and leading his team in every statistical category: block shots, steals, assists, rebounds. And the scary thing about it is he hasn't even reached his ceiling at all. You know what I mean? Like, he's a guy who is continuing to get better every game. His jump shot's getting better. Once he really gets a pure jump shot, because he can shoot the ball, don't get me wrong, but once he really that thing is just consistent every single time. I mean, it's really going to be no way to guard him. And when I watch him play, I mean, if I'm comparing him to anybody in the NBA, he's like a LeBron to me. I mean, obviously not at that level right now, but just as far as what he brings to the court and the impact that he has, I mean, he does everything, and he's physical. And the biggest thing for him is he competes at a high level. I mean, that dude is a competitor, man. He just plays hard as hell. And I think John Shire has done an incredible job putting that team together, putting the pieces around him, guys who really don't have egos and are just playing their role. And that's why they're undefeated in the ACC.
Enough about them. What do we got to do? Enough about Cooper Flagg. What do we got to do to be able to compete with them? Because the fans want to have a competitive game. They don't want to come in and tune in now 40. You know what I mean? What are some of the keys that we have to do in order to keep this competitive?
Well, you got to keep them out of the paint, right? You got to keep them out of transition. You got to make them play at half court versus a set defense. And then offensively, you got to be able to move them around side to side. If you're not moving them around side to side, you're just running into brick walls every single time. So you got to try to get them side to side and create some angles where you can get some driving lanes. And then, man, your shooters got to be ready. Like, if Chris Bell, if you're coming in the game, you got to be able to make shots. Like, Chopper Moore, you got to be able to make shots. J.J. Starling, you got to be able to make shots. And then as far as Lampkin goes, you got to be in attack mode. We talked about that last week. He has to look to be aggressive. We know you can make decisions with the ball and you can pass it well, but against a team like Duke, against a guy who is a big-time shot blocker in the middle, you got to be able to attack them, and that, you have to attack shot blockers. You can't give them any space. You can't be hesitant because they're throwing that stuff into the third row every single time.
That's great.
Right.
So I think you have to be aggressive, right? You have to get side to side movement so you can create driving lanes, and then that create drive and kick opportunities. But I think it's important to go to Lampkin early and try to establish that inside out game, right? But because Lampkin's capable of doing it, and I think if you can get those guys in foul trouble early on, get some of the shot blockers out, I mean, that'll open up the lane, and now they really don't have as many rim protectors, right? Even though Cooper Flagg, he's coming from the weak side blocking shots, but you damn near got to play perfect, just to be honest. And it's not impossible, because North Carolina State, I mean, they had them on the ropes at Duke. They only ended up losing by 10, but that's why Duke's a great team, because they find out how to win those games. But it's not impossible. I mean, North Carolina State is similar in the standings as Syracuse right now. I think they're like 2-7 or something like that, or in the ACC. But I mean, yeah, you got to play pretty much perfect against this Duke team.
I know we got to go to a break in a minute, and we could talk about it maybe when we come back. But I really want to talk about this and explore this notion that keeps coming up about us possibly not making the ACC tournament. And the level of a catastrophic event that would be. I don't want to. I mean, seriously, because before I didn't know that was a possibility. And then I was hearing the fans talk about it more and everything like that. They're worried about it, and I was like, wait a minute, this could happen. Now that would be terrible. So let's do this. Let's take a quick break and let's come back and we'll break that down about that possibility that we hope doesn't happen, but what are the ramifications if it does happen? So we'll be right back with more of Etan and Devo.
Service, Right Roofing, and Sweet on Chocolate are proud supporters.
Hey, so somebody said in the chat, the key to beating Duke is a snowstorm.
Dang. That's the key? That's tough.
The key is a snowstorm. Yeah, man, it's going to be tough, dude. Oh, that's funny, man.
Yeah.
They're already talking about how about LeBron getting Luka. Yeah, we're going to get to that.
We'll get to it. Let's get to it. Yeah. We'll get to it right after this segment because I do want to talk about this ACC tournament. I need you to break it down for me because I'm like, yeah, that would be horrible. That'd be horrible.
Oh, man.
Horrible.
Let me go to the ACC standings right now.
Yeah, let's look at stats here.
What, Cali, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was huge. But the thing is, Miami won, and so did Boston College.
Mm.
Oh my God, that Boston College game was crazy. Florida State just has to feel so terrible. Yeah, so Syracuse is 4-7, Virginia's 3-8, Boston College 2-8, North Carolina State 2-8, Miami 1-10. So they're 2 spots out of the bottom 3. Syracuse right now. Georgia Tech just because they got a huge win beating Louisville.
Mm.
Man, look at everyone's
they have a tiebreaker with them.
With Georgia Tech, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So Cal and Georgia Tech are ahead of them right now, but they're technically ahead because they got the tiebreaker. And then Florida State's right there at 4-7 too. Notre Dame 4-6, Virginia Tech 5-6. Man, it's a big cluster right there. You lose one game, you could go down 5 spots. You win one game, you could go up 5 spots. And let's be real. They're going to lose to Duke.
Don't say that like that, you know.
Yeah, I don't want. I mean, okay. Look. It is possible, but man, you got to do something special, man. JJ got to get 30. Like you got to go. You got to do special things that game. I mean, go to the zone. You got put Big Fella in the middle. I thought the zone actually it definitely helped them, man. Even though Cal they're not really good, but
I don't know if you could do that against Duke, though. I don't know.
Nah, you can't.
I have to respectfully disagree with that one. I think that would be catastrophic to go against Duke, just the way that they shoot.
Yeah, and then you put Cooper Flagg in the middle. It's over.
Yeah, that's not quite what you want to do.
Yeah, that's tough right there. I mean, they're just going to have to man up, man, and keep guys in front. Who are they going to have guard Cooper Flagg? Jair Davis?
Yeah, nah. You have to adjust the lineup a little bit. I don't know.
You can't put Lucas Taylor. You can't do that. I mean, you can't do Chopper. You can't do JJ. He's just too big.
Big, yeah. You got to bring Chris Bell?
Oh, he can't. Chris Bell. Chris Bell can't guard him.
You run that option.
Jair Davis. That's the only. I mean, as far as like from a physical standpoint, and yeah, I don't know.
It's a long break. How much more time we got? Don't hear me.
You're coming back.
Okay.
Yeah, Yeah, Duke, Clemson's 10-1. Look at SMU, man.
Talk.com. This is the Etan and Devo Show. Here are former Syracuse standouts Etan Thomas and Eric Devendorf.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? So let's hop into that ACC discussion. Before we went to break, we were just talking about how terrible it would be if Syracuse didn't make the ACC tournament. No, we're not talking about the NCAA tournament right now.
Right.
We're talking about the ACC tournament, a conference tournament, a tournament that every year you're like, all right, we got to get ready for our travel. We're going to, in our case, it was Madison Square Garden, but now it's Charlotte at the Spectrum Center. But now with this new rule, the bottom 3 teams do not go.
Now,
in Syracuse right now, Paulie, when did it start? Was it this year? I don't know if it must have been. I think it was this year that it just started, but
you knew. Okay, so that's why I didn't know. Because when people were talking about it, I was like, well, no, that's not possible. And they were like, yeah, it is possible, Jay. So where are we in danger of that? Where, I know we got more to talk about. We're going to get to the Luka trade because I definitely want to talk about that. But let's stay on Syracuse right now. How realistic is that we could not make the conference tournament?
It's realistic, E. I mean, we're right there. So I'm looking at the standings right now. Obviously, Duke, Clemson, Louisville, they've separated themselves from the pack. Then you got SMU, Wake Forest, Stanford, North Carolina, Pittsburgh, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame. They're kind of all in a little cluster. And then you get to these 4 and 7 teams, which is Syracuse is right in that category. Notre Dame, Florida State, California, Georgia Tech, and then Syracuse. And then you have the bottom 4, which is Virginia at 3-8, Boston College 2-8, North Carolina State 2-8, Miami 1-10. So really a win, you could jump up. You could jump up 5 spots. Boom, right there. You could be at 7. Right. And then a loss in a Virginia win or a Boston College win, you're right in that bottom 3. So, I mean, I did the Boston College game this weekend. They won on a buzzer beater. Florida State basically gave them the game.
They gave it to them.
But they're still alive. I mean, they're still alive. They're 2-8. Florida, I mean, they win 1 game, and they switch with Virginia. You know?
All right. So let's talk about this. Like, give the scenario. We know it will be catastrophic if we didn't make the tournament, okay? What does that mean? If this is what everybody's talking about, because this is their questions, the fans want to discuss, then what implications does that mean for Coach Red if we do not make the ACC tournament? What does that mean?
Man, it's not good. it's not good, Eve. But so, look, honestly, I don't think even if they do miss the tournament that you get rid of Red. I mean, now look, we talked about this before off air. If something were to happen where they did fire him because of that, I don't know if we would really be shocked or surprised, right? More so than if they did make it and then something happened, then that would obviously be a surprise. But I think you still give him. I mean, he still has to get another year, regardless if you're in or if you're out. You know, he has the recruiting class coming in next year. You got Melo's son coming in, and again, Cayenne's not Carmelo. He's not coming in, leading you to a national championship. That's Carmelo Anthony was a different animal. That's come on, we can't compare this guy to his son. To him, that's not it. But he's a good player. He's rated the best player in New York State. And then you got another 5-star coming in, Sadiq White, who's a great defender. He's still raw offensively. A big 6'6" point guard coming from Australia, super smart, IQ. Then you got the kid from Wisconsin who just had 35 and 15 or something the other night. I'm not really sure the level of competition he's playing against, but you got to give him another year in my mind. You have to. And if we're doing our show next year at this time, E, and we're talking, we're having the same conversation. Okay, I mean, then it's probably going to be more realistic that he's talking about is he going to be fired or not. But right now, I mean, I just don't. I don't see that. You know, even if they miss it, I don't see that.
So, what is this tournament in Vegas that I keep seeing advertised during the games? It's another tournament. It's not the NITs. It's something else. What is that tournament?
So that's like I believe it's like an NIL thing. So it's almost like, go back to like the TBT. It's like a TBT. If you win, you get $1 million. So I guess they split that $1 million, you know, through the coaches and the players. Maybe just the players. I don't know if the coaches get it, but. Yeah. Or I don't know if the school gets it. You know what? When we talk about this NIL stuff, I have no clue. Just to be honest,
it's all new though. It's all forming like as we're speaking, so we don't really know. So is that something that we would consider going to? I mean, that's because I remember we turned down the NIT, and I thought that was interesting. Would that be something like? What do you think? Would those be two tournaments that we would look at if we?
They are going next year.
Yeah, they're already signed up next year to go. It's already it's a done deal. So whatever these kids get, for their NIL, that would be on top of that if they won. And now you get extra $1 million for the players, which is not bad.
It's not for teams that don't make the tournament. It's just the teams that want to sign up for it. So some teams that do make the tournament will also play in this. This tournament that is in Vegas, is that correct?
And I believe it's almost like a preseason tournament, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, is it the end of the season? Okay.
Yeah, so kind of how the NBA did their in-season.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so same type of deal, right? It's just like a preseason. Like we're going to, we always went to Madison Square Garden and did the preseason tournament right there, except we didn't get $1 million if we won.
Yeah, no, I know. That'd be nice, but no, that wasn't the option. So let me ask you this: how? Because I hear a lot of the fans are saying, okay, we have a great recruiting class coming next year. We have a list of players. Are we still in the day where you have a group of freshmen that come in and really have an impact, like similar to what and I'm not comparing them to the Fab Five. The Fab Five is a special breed. You know what I mean? That's
right.
But even just to have an impact, just now where you have, it's. I remember, I think it was Calipari, I believe it was, who was saying last year that the days of freshmen coming in like that and taking you far into the tournament. I'm paraphrasing, of course. Are kind of over because of the way that you have the transfer portal and you have players returning for their 5th and 6th years and things of that nature. That was his point. What do you think? Now let's relate that to our recruiting class, which is a great recruiting class, but how much expectation should we realistically put on them for the level of impact starting next year?
Well, I agree with Calipari. I don't think we're going to have those days anymore where you get like an Anthony Davis to come in or Kevin Durant to come in, where they were competing for a national championship. It's different because now like they're going after the highly rated guys in the portal. And then the really like good high school All-Americans, McDonald's, they're end up going to like an overtime elite and getting paid, or they're going overseas to the NBL and getting paid. So there's so many different opportunities for these, I guess, 5-star recruits, right? That the other guys they're still good, don't get me wrong, but they're not coming in and doing what Kevin Durant did. They're not coming in doing what Melo did or Anthony Davis. Yeah, I think those days are over with, all right? I think the main focus now for teams is who can we really get in the portal, high-level guys in the portal, and then try to surround them with solid freshmen who they could come in and make an impact, or, they might need a year or two to develop. But, I mean, it's hard now for high school kids, because they're not getting looked at as much as they were. You have to go in the portal now because do I want a guy has 3-4 years of experience, or do I want to bet on a freshman come in who has 0 experience? Right. Mm-hmm. And obviously you'll have your guys who are, super talented guys who can just come in and make the impact, but not to like what we were talking about KD, that those days are over with. Right. They're going for the experience. They want the guys who are proven already.
Yeah. It's interesting talking about this, and this just not for Paulie. No, he's listening, but one of the top rated players in the portal last year was guess who? Kadari Richardson. He was one of the top players rated in the portal. Just want to throw it out there.
We back at that.
I know that's a whole different. I just want to, since you mentioned it, I just want to throw it out there. But so that being said, with everything you said, how much expectation should we have on the recruiting class coming in next year of the impact they will be able to make? Because our ceiling, we're not trying to realistically get to the national championship next year, but we're trying to get to at least a tournament. Can they get us to the tournament?
The ACC tournament.
No.
No.
It's no tournament. We're not talking about the ACC tournament.
Well, right now we're talking about the ACC tournament. We definitely not talking about the NCAA tournament. That's
you don't think that
gone.
next year? No, but I'm saying this is the level of expectation for starting next year. And they talk about the recruiting class. So with this recruiting class, is it within the realm of possibility to have the expectation that next year they, along with, whatever moves they make in the portal and everything like that, can get us to the NCAA tournament? Because that's the bar that we have right now.
Those guys are good coming in. Yeah, they're good. They're not going to do it, not just them. You got to go to the portal, and you got to get a point guard in the center. You're losing Carlos. You're losing Lampkin. And honestly, we don't know who else is coming back. You don't know if Chris Bell is going to come back. You don't know if Chopper Moore is going to come back. I would think JJ is going to come back. And I do want to shout out JJ California. He just hit his 1,000 points for his career. So shout out to JJ. I mean, he's one of the best scorers on the court, regardless of teams that are playing. So shout out to him. That's a big accomplishment, man, scoring 1,000 points at Syracuse. And I think it was probably with Notre Dame too in his career. I'm sure it was combined. But who are you going to be able to retain?
But to your point, we don't know if Donnie's going to come back.
And there you go. I forgot about Donnie. You don't know if Donnie's going to come back. And again, it's just, look, these kids got so much going at them. You could have a great season. And really now you're like, man, I don't even know if I want to show this kid that much. Because now if he has a great season, now you're getting Kentucky and the SEC schools coming, and let's just be honest, they got more money.
So we got to get our NIL up. We got to get our NIL there.
That's number one. That's number one.
We cannot lose players because we cannot compete in this NIL space. That should not be a reason that we, Syracuse University, with the history that we have, should not be losing players for that reason.
And we could talk about, hey, we got these guys coming in. We're recruiting this guy. All right, what's your NIL like? What's your bag like? Like, what do you have in the account for me? Because these are the questions that are coming from these kids. You know, I mean, and not even the kids, the agents that they're working with, the family members.
I'll say regarding, and I'll keep saying it, every student athlete should have a representative. So those days should be over. Like, you can't go by, a coach promised you something over the phone, and that's why those days are over with. Everybody should have a lawyer, a representative, an agent, somebody who is doing the negotiating for them. Yeah, but I see we have to take another break. Time to fly. But I do want to get to this trade. So let's talk about this trade, because I did not see that coming at all. I don't know if you saw it coming, but
I did.
For AD, I didn't see that coming at all. So let's take a break, and we'll be right back with more of Etan and Devo on QSportsTalk.com.
The Sports Show with Cody Mack.
It is the 1-year anniversary of the greatest thing I've ever done in the history of my life.
Yeah, I mean,
He should be good. He's 35 now.
Okay, I just saw that. Okay, he's 35. All right, well, we're playing. A lot of guys are 27, 28 playing right now, Paulie. There's guys your age, Paulie.
You guys all talk like Kadari Richmond would have gone pro if he had just stayed at Syracuse after his sophomore
I thought
year.
he would have been better for us if he would have stayed at Syracuse.
And he would have, Paulie. He would have been.
Yeah,
Still playing college basketball.
Well, yeah, because he got $1 million. He got $1 million to go to St. John's. I would be too.
Well, he ain't getting $1 million to come here.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
They tried to bring him back.
Paulie, in this day and age, if I could get $1 million, I'm trying to come back for 7 years. If I could keep coming back, can I get a red shirt year? I need another red shirt year, man.
You don't think Hunter Dickinson would play an extra year if he could? He's making good money right now. You know Hunter Dickinson,
What about Baycott? Baycott from UNC.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
You have an opportunity now to make what you're going to make in college, and then let that prepare you for the future.
Jesse Edwards did it.
Huh?
Jesse Edwards did it.
Jesse Edwards did it. But how about the kid from, and this is football, but.
Wait. To your point, though, with Jesse Edwards, he should not have had to have gone to West Virginia because we couldn't pay him. That should have happened. He should have been retained right here. And they should have
question.
Here.
Exactly.
They messed that up.
A few things.
I didn't want him getting deported, so.
Yeah, I know, but that and yeah, I know all about that, and that was terrible. I mean, come on, that was like, man. So look, he had somebody, and I'm not even going to name the name, man, but he just messed up the whole contract, and he dang near got this guy deported.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man, just some like kindergarten stuff, honestly. Not doing your due diligence and understanding that he's from the Netherlands, so there has to be a different way to go about it. And he didn't go about it the right way. How about the quarterback from Miami though? Or no, he just from Georgia went to Miami. He's getting $10 million.
That's the number?
Man, I saw he's getting $10 million, man. And that's with everything involved, like with all the NIL deals and all that, but he's getting paid more than NFL quarterbacks.
Good Lord.
And he's not even going to get, I mean, I don't even think he's one of the top QB prospects, honestly. Hey, Paulie, is he?
He is, but just like Syracuse could not afford Kyle McCord if he had come out this year. You know, if he was transferring this year.
Why?
Somebody would have put millions up for him.
Did he not have another year?
He could have. They asked for one. Like, there's no guaranteeing that if he came back, an SEC school wouldn't have backed up the Brinks truck and taken him from him.
Yeah, but why wouldn't he, for himself, why wouldn't he come back and get that? I mean, it's not like he's going to be a high draft pick.
Because it's a weak quarterback draft, and he's jumped himself up to almost the second day of the draft. So
okay, so like fourth round or something.
Yeah, maybe even before that.
Nice. He still would have been making more money going to the SEC than he would this first year in the NFL.
Probably.
I mean, that guy, the Tennessee quarterback's a sophomore, is he? He's making 2.5.
Not bad.
I mean, that football money is totally different than the basketball. Those guys. But now, I heard Kentucky's starting five budget. They're starting $5.5 million.
$2,464, depending on the price of gold when it's sold. Your best guess is brought to you by Pawn Pro, Erie Boulevard in Syracuse, where you can buy, sell, or trade. At Pawn Pro, they'll tell you what it's worth, so you don't have to guess. Find them online at pawnpro.com.
This is the Etan and Devo Show. Here are former Syracuse standouts Etan Thomas and Eric Devendorf.
Eve, real quick, before we hop into the Luka and AD trade, I just kind of want to finish up about this NIL stuff and how. And look, I don't know the exact numbers that Syracuse has in the NIL in their collective, but let me throw a number out, and we were just talking about it. Kentucky's starting five. This is starting five. E. I'm not talking about the team. I'm not talking about the bench or the reserves.
Just the starting five.
Just the starting five who start the game. The budget for them, and again, this is hearsay, maybe it's not, but it's a pretty solid number that I heard, right? $5.5 million. $5.5 million for your starting five. So that means everybody's getting over $1 million on the starting lineup. So that's what we're competing with or competing against.
You have to up the NIL, whatever. I don't know what has to do for that, but in order to, so fans, you can't even realistically think that you're going to get a certain caliber of player, a certain level of player, if that's what you're competing against. If you don't have an NIL package that can at least even come close to that. So,
the starting five. We're not talking about the budget for the team. We're talking about the starting five against. So there's exactly. How can you compete? And again, I'm backtracking a little bit, going back talking about the coaching job. But what fans don't really understand, or I don't think they really know. Yeah, you're saying, hey, fire Red if he doesn't have a good make the tournament, whatever it is. Red has a 5-year deal, right? He'd be going to his 3rd year next year. Okay. Mm-hmm. Syracuse is obviously they're keeping him here and him not having that head coaching experience, this being his first head coaching job. They could keep him for less, right? So whatever he's getting, $2 million a year, they could keep him. So if you wanted to fire Red, not only do you have to continue to pay him through his 5th year, now you have to go out and get a coach and pay that coach. And you got to pay that coach more than $2 million, because if you want to go outside, like they say, hey, we got to go outside the Q's. All right, you're going to have to get $4 or $5 million at least for a coach to be able to come in and do that. So you're paying Red the rest of his contract, $2 million, $2 million, $2 million, $6 million, and then you got to go get a coach for $4 or $5 million, but and honestly, then you got to get NIL.
Honestly, though, they don't care about the economics of it. They just want to see a product on the floor that they can be proud of and that they want to win. And I could be wrong. If I'm wrong with what I just said, tell me that I'm wrong. But I don't think they care about any of that stuff. They just want to see wins.
But that all plays. But you want a new coach. These are all the things that they're a part of it. So you can't, if you want to go get a Jay Wright. They're talking about Jay Wright. Let's go get a whoever. You better have to open up that bank account. He's asking for $7-8 million.
They got to open up the NIL, so then everybody has to pitch into the NIL. I guess I don't know. I do want to talk about this Luka trade, because I know Tommy,
for sure.
What was your reaction in seeing this trade? And I've seen a lot of people trying to make sense of it, because I was a little bit shocked by both sides of it. I didn't think that those were pieces that would have been tradable. At this point of their career. Luka's 25 years old. He's saying that they're trying to make reasoning of why he would get traded. So people are saying, well, maybe he pissed somebody off in the Dallas brass, or maybe it's because of his work habit, or they said he was 270 pounds. That was like a rumor. But then I saw the image of him coming off of the plane landing in LA, and I'm not an expert on guess your weight, but he didn't look 270 pounds. Yeah. So what? Help me make sense of this trade. Help me out.
They just went to the championship last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they almost won a championship. Yeah, Luka is in his prime. Right. He's been hurt. Right. He's been hurt for the last month and a half, whatever it is. That's going to happen. Right. Guys are going to get hurt. But I was shocked, honestly. All right. Just to trade a piece that he was and he was getting ready to sign that Supermax, $365 million. He was getting ready to sign that. So right now I'm sick to my stomach for Luka. Right, because he's not even eligible for that. Even though he's going to get it doesn't matter, because he's going to get paid a lot of money. But he's not going to be able to get the Supermax, which he should have got it. He's one of the best players in the league.
Do you think that's what it comes down to then, economics? Because I did see someone say that Anthony Davis, the Lakers weren't necessarily going to extend him or give him that extension later on after this year, as what their brass was thinking, and could have been that they just didn't want to pay Luka that level of a Supermax, and that's why they did it for economic reasons?
I don't think money's an issue, honestly, with those guys.
I can't think of anything else.
I mean, so honestly, okay, they could say that. They could say this, he was overweight, boom, boom. I don't think that's it. I think, honestly, something was going on, behind the scenes, where they got into it or they didn't agree on something, because we watched the video with the GM and Jason Kidd, and he even said flat out, like, yeah, Jason Kidd we didn't tell Jason that this was going to happen. You didn't tell your head coach that you're going to trade your franchise player. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if anything, you're going to trade away somebody else, or just to get pieces around. Maybe you get some more shooters around him for him and Kyrie. But, I mean, you can't say him and Kyrie weren't working, because they got all the way to the championship. So something was working.
Now I will say, AD and Kyrie sounds like it could work pretty well. And then AD moving to the 4, so because they have formidable 5s that can play, so he doesn't have to play the 5.
I like Lively.
Yes, I like Lively a lot. You know what I mean? So I think that could work out well for Dallas. But now for the Lakers side, now help me make sense of Luka and LeBron, how you see that working out. Because now they have. How do you see that working out?
I don't. Okay. I think Dallas won the trade, honestly, because you got a guy like Kyrie who, Kyrie could, yes, he had LeBron, but Kyrie could do a lot on his own, right? And then you put a guy like AD who's a scoring threat, he's a defensive threat, and then you got 2 rim protectors now. You got AD coming from the weak side, and then you got Lively who's a rim protector as well. All he want to do is rim run and dunk it and block shots.
That's it.
He's just playing his role. So Kyrie gonna have all types of fun getting in there, just throwing lobs, kick it, drive and kick. So I think Dallas won the trade. Just to be as far as like the pieces that they as a team. Luka needs the ball. He's not going to guard, right? Luka needs the ball in his hands. LeBron needs the ball in his hands. Even though you're going to start to see the interviews like, well, I could play off the ball. LeBron, you're not going to be as effective playing off the ball, right? You need the ball in the hand because LeBron's not a great shooter. He's not coming off down screens going into it or driving kicks. He's not. He needs the ball in his hands, and so does Luka. Luka's not coming off a down screen or anything like that. He needs the ball in his hands. They're both ball dominant players.
One of the things that the GM said, I don't remember his name, but the GM from Dallas, that he said that defense wins championships, and he's kind of thinking that was a little bit of the reason why they moved away from Luka. Maybe they didn't want to invest in Luka combined with defense. Now he's going to have to play some defense, eventually. But how is that going to work in LA? I mean, do people foresee him all of a sudden getting after defense, or is it just kind of still be kind of what we call Olay defense? Just kind of let you go by.
So here's my thing: are they just planning for like, all right, LeBron's going to retire in a year or so, or 2? Who knows? How he's talking, he's saying I got 4 or 5 years left, whatever it is. But are they getting Luka to where, okay, now this is your team? But then, who's your other Austin Reeves? That's your second guy. Who do you have around besides that? It's Max Christie.
So help me out with this. Help me out as well, though, because a lot of the talk when Darren Fox was trying to see where they were going to move him from Sacramento, and Sacramento was talking to the Lakers, right? And one of the people who they said they were not going to give up was Austin Reeves. Okay, fine. So that's why that deal didn't work out from the reports. But then you trade Anthony Davis. You know what I mean? And I was kind of looking at that like, because I was someone who thought that Darren Fox would work great with the Lakers. You know what I mean? With LeBron, with Anthony Davis, and then you add Darren Fox to that piece. As a piece, I thought that would have been great. But, the direction that the Lakers are going in, if I was, I don't know. If I was a Lakers fan, I'd be a little worried right now because I just don't know how this is going to work with both of them. I don't know how they complement each other.
Well, they don't. I don't think they do at all. And then you lost your best rim protection you have. You don't have any more rim protection. Who's their 5 guy? And I think Max Christie was in the trade, actually. He was one of the better young guys coming up for LA. I don't know if he was in the trade or not. I don't know. I got to look back at that. But you lose your rim protection. You have no rim protection anymore. Who is, besides AD, who is it? Is it the guy from Indiana? And I think he was in the trade, too.
Trade too, yeah. So that's now. Let me ask you this: because we know that Luka didn't know about the trade. Obviously, the GM said he left a voice message on his answer machine or whatever. That's crazy, and we know the head coach didn't know about the trade. Do you buy that LeBron didn't know anything about it? I saw a reporter said reported something that LeBron immediately shot back. He's like, "You're a lie." That did not happen. I don't know if you saw that on social media as well. But it's hard. I understand that the thought is that LeBron kind of knows everything that's going on. But he said or claimed, he was eating dinner with his family and he found out about the trade and was just as shocked as everybody else. What do you think about that, Devo?
You know that LeBron's been taking acting classes, right?
No, you don't buy it.
I don't buy it. I think everything it goes through LeBron. I mean, I think they're letting him know everything. Like, hey, this is what we're thinking. Maybe they didn't be like, hey, it's not confirmed, but I think LeBron knew. Let's take a break real quick. E, we're gonna take a quick break and then we'll come right back and finish up with it.
Hey, this is former Syracuse basketball player.
All right, guys. You'll have about 1 minute when you get back.
Oh, okay, yeah. That conversation, there's so many angles to it. That one just flies. Yeah.
Charles Barkley thinks they're going to trade. They're going to trade LeBron.
I don't think
To where?
Yeah.
The Warriors.
I mean, to where? Warriors?
Golden State. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What good would do? Would it just like a last hurrah type thing for Golden State? That's what they're trying to get going, and I don't know. Now that'd be more of a fit because Steph could be off the ball. I mean, he's perfectly fine playing off the ball. I just don't see it happening in LA. I mean, those are two ball dominant guys. They need the ball in their hands to be effective. Yeah. And then defensively, they got worse defensively.
A lot worse.
A lot worse at the rim. Like the rim's wide open now.
Not like a little worse, but a lot worse.
And Mavericks got better, honestly. I mean, look, yes, you lose, but you still got Kyrie. So, and then the ball is going to start. Everybody's going to start touching it a little bit more now because Luka had that ball in his hands, and if it wasn't in Luka, it was in Kyrie. Nobody else was really touching it. So, like, now Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to get some more looks, and he can shoot it. Like, he's a good piece. Tim Hardaway Jr. is a good piece.
I like him. As
like
a player.
PJ Washington, he's solid. Like, he can score it.
Yeah.
I mean, they got good pieces. I think they got better with AD, man, because now you got a post threat. You didn't have anyone in the post. What, he had Max Kleber, or was he in the trade?
I don't know. I gotta see the full trade. Let me see if I can look it up.
He was a shooter, the big white guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This doesn't look that great for the Lakers for me. It looks great for Dallas. It doesn't look that great for the Lakers.
Yeah, people are just going off of like names, like Luka and LeBron. Man, you got to understand the fit. That doesn't fit.
Right. What, you reading the chat?
Yeah. And I got really nothing going.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But you don't think that LeBron didn't?
I think he knew.
You think he knew?
Yeah, or Rich Paul knew for sure.
Somebody, yeah.
Yeah, somebody knew because they got it. I mean, that's just what it is, man. It's like if you didn't tell Mike something. Phil was telling Mike.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. He said he didn't know. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. My thing is, it's crazy that you didn't tell Jason Kidd.
Yeah, that's his head coach.
That's the head coach, man. He got to get his plans together. Like, but for real, honestly, with Kyrie, I wouldn't. That's why I wouldn't be if I was Dallas. I'm like, man, we got Kyrie.
And Kyrie,
now he's just going to put, and he's. I'm sure he'll take the load. He does not mind.
Yeah, I don't think he minds. And he's a willing distributor. And yeah, I think, like I said, I think Dallas will be just fine.
Yeah,
I think they'll be. Yeah,
Dallas won that trade. That was silly to give up AD.
Yeah,
You got about 1:30 when you get back.
Okay.
You just want to finish up with that, E? Just talking about the trade?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
.com.
Watch Catch your favorite ESPN Syracuse sports talk shows on QSportsTalk.com. This is the Etan and Devo Show. Here are former Syracuse standouts Etan Thomas and Eric Devendorf.
So, E, we got about a minute 30 left before we're off. Just give me your final take on the Luka AD trade. Who won it? Mavericks, Lakers, and why?
Well, I definitely think the Mavericks won it. I think that Kyrie really is going to have the freedom to do, even more and kind of be what he does, get into there and probe. He's going to be able to lob it up to, AD's playing the 4 now, so he's not going to have to worry about playing the 5. Hopefully that'll impact his health a little bit better and keep him a little bit more healthy. Lively is going to be running, like you said, rim running and doing what he does from the 5 spot. I think Dallas is going to be just fine. The Lakers, I just have to see how it's going to work. They lost a lot of defense. They don't have any rim protection. Luka's kind of ball dominant. Maybe Luka gets on the LeBron James workout plan, and we see Luka. That's a whole different topic. But other than that, I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Mavericks won. I mean, Kyrie, he could shoulder the load, put the ball in his hands. He's done it before. I think they got better defensively with AD. Now they got a post presence offensively. Derek Lively, rim running, blocking shots. And then, I think the Lakers, they got worse defensively, and then they're going to have to figure out between LeBron and Luka, who's going to have the ball in their hands. But, yeah, so the Mavericks won it, and we're getting ready to get off. So, next Monday, make sure you guys tune in with us, 10 to 11, the Etan and Devo Show. We're looking forward to talking about the game versus Duke. We'll see you guys next Monday.
Cody Mack.
It is